think it's...
Is this thing on?
No, I think it's on, yeah.
No? Okay, good.
I'm pretty sure. So Jeff and I were just sitting here stroking our beard.
Yes.
We share a beard. I've got a quarter of a beard. Jeff has 3/4 of a beard. And
This side is almost full.
yeah, sometimes I have to get the other bit of mine. So no, actually,
Don't do that on
first
video.
install, not on video, but in real life, it's totally fine.
Yes.
Okay. First installation of Johnson Team Talks. One of the lessons that you taught me back when I first joined the team was to not slouch on video.
That was for you.
Okay, just for me. One of the first lessons that you taught me was I don't remember what the circumstances were, but I had a client that I was like dreading calling. It wasn't like the deal was blowing up, but it just wasn't great news, and I was kind of hoping that maybe I could smooth it over, and that it would never need to come to their attention. And I was just kind of telling you, like, I know I got to call this person, but I really don't want to. And I don't know if you remember the advice you gave me. Do you happen to recall?
I do happen to remember it, just off the top of my head.
Yeah, not like we talked about it.
Is that the less you want to call someone, it most likely means that is the person you need to call the most. So literally, it's a directly opposite proportional scale. Like if you like calling them, you probably already have a good relationship with them. If you're nervous to call them, you need to call them more often. If you're scared to death to call them, you really need to call them more often.
Yeah.
And it doesn't necessarily always have to be a call. It can be a text or whatever it is. But if you feel nervous to call them, that actually probably needs you to pick up the phone and actually call them, not just shoot them a text or an email. And those are the people who will sometimes be your staunchest supporters after you go above and beyond and make those calls.
Staunchest, that was a heck of an adjective. Yeah, and I think the other thing to that doesn't just apply to your clients. I mean, it's super important for your clients, and at
Your
first,
wife, the less
you want to call her, the more you need to. No, I think
Children.
it applies to cooperating agents too.
Absolutely.
Because there are certainly times. Just the other day, I realized that something. We weren't contractually obligated, but it was just kind of the right thing to do to take care of this item on the house before we closed. It was turning on the sprinkler system. It wasn't a big deal, but it's hot, and the house had been vacant for several months. The previous owner had never turned it on. I realized that right as we were getting ready to close, but I forgot about it and didn't take care of it. And so I called the seller and said, "Hey, did you ever get the sprinklers turned on?" "Oh, no, I never did, because I haven't been there all year." So I called the other agent and just said, "Hey, I know we're already closed, and you probably don't like hearing about deals after closing if you're like me, but I just wanted to warn you, I meant to take care of this beforehand, but we never got the sprinkler system turned on." Her clients weren't going to be moving in for several months, and I just didn't want them to show up to a dead yard. And although on one hand I didn't want to call and say, "Hey, you're going to have to go back to that house and get that sprinkler system turned on because we're closed and it needs to be done," I just knew that she needed to know. And I kind of braced for, why didn't you do that beforehand? And there was none of that. It was total appreciation. Gosh, I hope I get to work with you again.
That just made me think of something that most people know if they're like that. If they're a needy person, or if there's somebody, because there's two scenarios. That you could not want to call someone because they're super needy and you're tired of making that call, or it could be because there's an actual problem and you don't want to call. I'm thinking more of a personality type of the person you're dealing with, and most of the time they know they're like that. They know other people have told them they're like that, and they'll appreciate it even more when you go above and beyond to meet that need for them. And if it's your client, it's your obligation to meet that need. If it's an agent, it's just good practice to build relationships with other agents. You might be more likely to get your offers accepted later because that agent likes you, and you made that agent feel good, or you made that client feel good. And I'm telling you, they know it. I had a client who was a nightmare, and I was so worried that she hated us. But yet I kept calling, and eventually in the end, I was sure she hated us. I was scared to even send a review out, and she raved about us in the review, and she acknowledged the fact that she is what she is, and we overcompensated for it. And she acknowledged that in the review, which was absolutely awesome. Not what I saw coming. But I'm telling you, that rule, the less you want to call someone, call them more. The less you want to text them more. Whatever it is.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, I mean, I think in general it gets easier too the more you do it, because those calls, if you just ask yourself, why don't I want to make this call? That's the reason I need to call them. If you just start doing that, it becomes a habit, and really the calls lose their, I almost look forward to those calls now, because I know it's going to take some stress off my plate, because one of two things is going to happen. One, the bad thing you're thinking about could happen, and then it's done. So instead of sitting there dreading it, it's like, I remember as a kid hating getting shots at the doctor's office. So instead of that day knowing I was going to the doctor, I always worried, are they going to give me a shot? I was kind of a wimp as a kid. That has changed mildly since then. So I would dread that, but once it was over, it was like, oh, that wasn't so bad. So there's that possible outcome, or there's the outcome where what you were afraid of was nothing to be afraid of anyway. In either event, when that call is done, or that contact, that text, that email, that face-to-face, whatever it is, when it's over with, you're going to be better off for it. So you start craving those conversations, and it's a huge key to success. So that's
Well, and you'll start craving it even more, and I agree with what Dan just said. And part of the reason I think you'll start craving it is it actually saves you time. It doesn't seem like it, but it does. And I'm all about saving time because you're just being preemptive. And anytime you're preemptive, you save time. Because you know that client's going to call you, and if they call you stressed, they're going to be on the phone with you for a half hour about a... Yeah, so whenever a notification comes in on my phone, it cuts the video off, so we're back again. And I think I know where I was at. So we're talking about being preemptive. It is preemptive. So that is, you take 10 seconds, call the client, said you're probably thinking about this, but I just wanted to reassure you, here's where we're at. Or know that appraisal didn't come in yet, but I promise you I'll call you as soon as it does. And you could even say, I've only got 10 seconds because I got another appointment, or I got another call that's supposed to come in, or whatever. You can find a legit reason to only have 10 seconds. And they'll appreciate the fact that you called, you took a 10-second call instead of them taking 20 minutes to call you because they're stressed out.
And if you're able to say, I only have 10 seconds, but it was important to me that I communicated this to you, that speaks volumes about you to your client. So yeah, I think that's kind of what we're going to try and provide here on Johnson Team Talk is just little tips that'll help you whether you're a member of our team or another team or no team at all. Maybe you're just looking at getting into real estate, whatever. We're trying to make sure we invite people into this group who are interested in learning and growing and sharing best practices. And
sharing best practices is key. So we don't want to just be the only ones giving out good advice. We hope this is a start to spur other people on to give their tidbits of things they've learned that have helped them.
Yeah, this is selfish. We want to know what you're doing so we can be better. But we're happy to help in the process. So thanks for watching. We appreciate it, and stay tuned for the next one.
Is this good? Is my head too big?